What I need to say about this tournament, I mean, the top 10 teams on the continent have made it to the quarterfinals, bar two, obviously, which is South Africa and Tunisia, who have failed to make it to the last 8. Notable shout out for the DRC Congo. I think they, for me, were probably the surprise package of that last 16. They played really, really well against Algeria, took them to the wire. Obviously, Algeria scored it late in extra time. And obviously, the guy celebrated. He stood there literally for the entire 120 minutes with his hand up like this, fist up, and in commemoration of their leader. And when that goal went in, the Algerians, up north, so they were a surprise package. They really played well against Algeria. But let's get to the matters of today's games. We've got really interesting fixtures. Breakdown of the quarterfinals of the African Nations Cup in Morocco 25. It's been a very, very interesting tournament, but it is the business end. This is when tournaments really start to take shape. You know, the group stages will always be the group stages. There's permutations. You know that if you win your first 2 games, you automatically make it because that guarantees you 6 points. And then, the guys that are fighting for second place, and now because tournaments have been expanded and they've allowed for the third best place, all those permutations come into it. And there's a lot of, coaching experiments that go on there, and maybe even teams deliberately losing games or playing fringe players or trying different tactics. But now it's the business end. Now there's no more room for error. Now it is time for the teams to really, really go for it. One thing that I like about African football is that when it comes to this tournament in particular, there's no team that has really dominated it in the last 6-7 editions. We know that Egypt is African royalty. They are the record champions when it comes to this tournament, as well as in the CAF Champions League with their team. So they will always be in and amongst the favorites. But what I like about this particular tournament in Morocco is that the teams that make up the top 10 teams in the continent, bar 2, obviously South Africa sitting in at number 10 has been eliminated, and Tunisia has also been eliminated. But as for Cameroon, as for Morocco, who's sitting in at number 1, Senegal, Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, they all make up the top 10. So you could pretty much say this is the top 8 best teams that are remaining in this tournament, slugging it out to be named the AFCON champions. We're going to have to wait another 4 years. We know that FIFA has now and CAF have decided to make this tournament an edition that comes by every 4 years, which kind of sucks because I think it was really nice for African football to have this tournament every 2 years. It gave us something to look forward to, and obviously high level competition that our national teams can look forward to. But now we're at the business end, and today's fixtures are going to be very, very interesting. And I want to give my thoughts, my predictions, and who I think will make it through to the semifinals. Let's start off with the first game that we'll be playing today. It will be Mali versus Senegal. Mali, for me, haven't really been a prolific team. We've seen the other teams thus far have been very prolific, scoring an average of more than 2 goals per game. Mali haven't really been a goal threat. They are a very compact team. They like to sit back, absorb the pressure. They've got physically imposing players in their team. The captain, number 10, who plays for Tottenham Hotspurs, Bissouma, or something like that. The name kind of messes me up. But yeah, he is a player who's physically really, really strong. They play as a team, a collective. They don't have too much individual brilliance in their team. But I think for me, it's going to be a very easy game for Senegal. The Lions of Teranga, they still got 3-time African Player of the Year in Mario Sane. For me, is a player in his heyday, even at Liverpool, should have gotten more adulation than Mohamed Salah did. But in this tournament, he has shown, even in the edition when they did win it, he has shown how important it is for this team. On paper, one of the strongest teams as well in the tournament. And I think for me, a big, big favorite. It's very simple for them. They're going to get through. They've got width. They've got counter-attacking prowess, especially in the last third. If you want to try and play it out from the back, Bona, they do press high. If you watch some of their games, they don't allow you to play it out from the back. They're intentional, the high press. We know they've got the likes of Jackson as well, who's also very energetic. We used to see him at Chelsea. We've seen him at Bayern Munich as well. That is what he does. He initiates the press. He's one of those kind of players. So they've got a lot of energy. They've got a lot of mobility in their team, and they're an aerial threat defensively. They're sound as well. I think Kulubai is coming back. He didn't play in the last 16. We already know what kind of a defender he is, up there amongst the top defenders in the world. So a very, very, I would say, simple game for Senegal. It won't be easy, but it will be a simple task for them to get through. And in that game, I do see Senegal at least nothing but a 2-0 win for Senegal. And in the next encounter, we've got Cameroon up against Morocco, the hosts. We already know that Morocco is a team that has got a few advantages at this point. Territories on their side, the fan base. They've got the off the back of the World Cup being the first African team to make it to the quarter semi-finals. It is. So they're a team that is going to definitely look to win this tournament. Hakimi is definitely an outlet for them as a right wing back. He inverts, he comes in, but he stays out wide as well. You know, when he stays out wide, he's very, very dangerous. When he whoops in those crosses, very accurate, very lethal with those crosses. They number 9, gets on the end of those balls. Very, very potent attack. They've got Diaz from Real Madrid, who has now scored 4 consecutive goals, the first Moroccan player ever to score 4 consecutive goals in this tournament. He's on fire, red hot chili pepper strike at the moment, and I think he's going to be a threat as well. With that being said as well, they're a very, very pacey team, very counter-attacking team. We know that the North Africans, your Algerians, your Tunisians, your Egypts, they are very, very good technically and counter-attacking teams. If you give them space in between the last line of defense and the keeper, they play those balls in between there, whether they play them through the defense, but Pula Mafestero, or they play them long. We know that those players have got the ability to finish a game off. So for me, it's going to be a tough game. We saw with Cameroon as well, the Indomitable Lions. They are also a team not to be taken lightly. I think after Egypt, they are the team with the second most AFCON titles. We've seen that with the resurgence of Cameroonian football, with Eto'o at the helm of the federation, that things are moving in the right direction. It was quite funny. He was actually sitting next to Danny Jordan when he was playing South Africa, and boy, did he go ballistic when they scored that second goal. And Danny Jordan was very, very doom and gloom. You could just see him. But anyway, so the Indomitable Lions are also a team to look out for. They've got some really good players up front. We know that African footballers, African strikers are really pacey, really powerful. The likes of Mbeumo as well that are there. But for me, I do see that Morocco will definitely take this game really simple, really quickly, really easy. I think it will be a game of close margins in the sense that I think in the first half, Cameroon will hold out. They might come with a strategy to absorb a little bit of pressure because they know that Morocco's playing at home. From the front foot, they'll be putting a lot of pressure on them. But perhaps they will eventually break. And not be able to withstand that pressure that Morocco will be throwing at them, because we already know, like I said, they are playing at home. So for me, that looks like a game where it should be a 2-0 win for Morocco at home, and they will advance through. And then tomorrow, I think all the fixtures tomorrow are like, they're going to be high octane, high level fixtures. Algeria versus Nigeria and Egypt versus Ivory Coast. And for me, the Atlas Lions, Algeria up against the Super Eagles is probably going to be the match of the tie. And the reason why I say this is because the Atlas Lions, like I've said before about North African teams, very, very, very technical, very good on the counter attack. They've got a lot of speed. But if you look at the Super Eagles, which is Nigeria, they have players as well. In the top goal scorers, they've got 2 that are sitting in at number 2, second tied as well with the others. That's Lukman and Victor Osimhen. My only doubt with the Super Eagles is, are the egos going to get to them a little bit? We saw in the last game, Victor Osimhen was having a little altercation with Lukman on the field. They're both African Players of the Year. They won it concurrently, successively, should I say. Victor first, and then the year following was Lukman, and then obviously we know Hakimi won the last edition. So they are a powerhouse. They have got really, really good attacking threats. Victor Osimhen, for me, is probably the best striker in the tournament. He's one of those strikers that I believe in the world. He's definitely up there in the top 5, 6 10 best strikers in the world. He is very lethal. He's very lethal with his head. He's very lethal with his feet. His positioning is very good. And he's just a striker that really knows how to finish. So for me, they've got such a potent attack, Nigeria, with the likes of Lukman, with the likes of Wilfred Ngidi, marshalling that midfield. We already know that they've also got the likes of Iwobi, who plays in the Premier League, who's literally been stringing the balls to the likes of Lukman and the forward line. He is really dangerous. The Super Eagles have also got a lot to prove because they didn't make it to the World Cup, and I feel like this is redemption for them. This is an opportunity for them to showcase that they're a powerhouse in African football, and they will be taking this tournament very seriously. So I do consider them as a serious contender, and I see them unfortunately taking Algeria out, even though Algeria's got some slick players. And if they don't look after those players, the likes of Pasi at the back, they need to be really physical. They need to really be tight on these players, because if they afford them the space, we've already seen from outside the box, if they see and they get line of sight of goals, they will punish you. The Atlas Lions are really technically gifted players. Algerians, they know their stuff. So, but for me, it's going to be a tight encounter, but I see Nigeria pipping it just in the moments that matter. And then the last encounter is Egypt versus Ivory Coast. The Pharaohs up against the Elephants. For me, my favorite team to win this tournament, just because of the way I like the way they play. Their story from the last edition, when they were playing at home, they fired the coach mid-tournament and went on to progress, and they've still kept the same coach. And it goes to show that sometimes, switching it up, it can work. It can work. You don't always have to keep the same coach. And this is where I'm also basing some of my thoughts in my last video, my video from yesterday, about Bafana can go to the World Cup with a different coach, a local coach like a Benny McCarthy, and wonderful things can happen. So it's an example there. But for me, the best one-on-one player in the continent, what's his name? This boy from Man United, Dalot from Man United. If you see how composed he is, if you see how he makes entries into the box, he's never scared to take on players. He doesn't have the biggest frame. He's very diminutive. He's very quick on the ball, skillful as well. For me, probably if Ivory Coast win this tournament, he will be player of the tournament, but it'll be very close to see how far Nigeria make it as well. Osimhen, Lukman are also up there as well. Mohamed Salah has also scored 3 goals so far in this tournament. But the likes of Kessia as well in that midfield also give that stability with Ivory Coast. But for me, Ivory Coast is a team that you should look out for. They are not just my favorites, they're my dark horses, they're my winners. They are every single category that you can associate with a team that can take this tournament. They look very sound as a team in all defensive units, in all phases of the game. So for me, Ivory Coast, they're my favorites, and I'm obviously pipping them to beat Egypt. But it also won't be easy for Ivory Coast to beat Egypt. They've got the big names. They've got Mamouche, they've got Trezeguet, they've got Mohamed Salah, and obviously we already know the quality that Mohamed Salah possesses as well, a former African player of the year in his own right. And you can just see that the Egyptians, after beating South Africa, they really want this tournament. They haven't been at the forefront of African football in a while, and this tournament will mean a lot to them as well. So I don't think they'll take it lying down. The boys are really there to exert themselves. They know that this is the business end. You win a quarterfinal, you're in a semi-final, you're in a final, you write history, and you get back to your leagues and continue. So for me, Ivory Coast to beat Egypt. They're going to go to extra time, and Ivory Coast to win it 2-1 with Dalot scoring the winner there. So yeah, those are my predictions. Those are my thoughts, guys. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Follow On The Ball with Steezy on TikTok. I'll be dropping this video as well on YouTube as well, and some clips of it on my Instagram page, s.dihuto_junior, and the whole thing will be on Facebook as well. Yeah, one love, guys. Let's continue with